It's just not like your normal festival. It's a real experience and a community.
It is genuinely just such a phenomenal event, and you really sort of feel part of something when you're there.
Part of our idea is how can you bring people to places where they wouldn't normally go? I think because we're non-for-profit, we don't have that thing of, we need to make money off people. We need to make money off everything or anyone that's coming.
We are going to have people play music in the most incredible places, off the grid, no electricity, nothing.
Last year, it was the highlight of my year, and I've actually chosen to go there this year instead of a very well-known festival later on in the month. So if that doesn't tell you how good it is, then I really don't know what will.
We have social events. We have a drum and bass pub quiz, which is a favourite of everyone. Picnics, barbecues, open decks events. This year we've got Rio and Voice MT doing sound healing. Colette Warren's doing Reiki. Katalyst.
There's going to be a fitness class.
She's doing a drum and bass fitness class. So all the artists that come want to get involved as well, but also we organise external activities. So we have rock climbing, canyoning, horse riding, mountain biking, 4x4 tours. So you can kind of pick and choose as much as you want to do, but we want to make sure that if you don't want to just stay up all night and party, you want to get up in the morning and enjoy something, but that's the thing to do.
Absolutely.
A highlight of my year. I love the Mountain Base guys. It's an amazing festival. Chance to unwind, take in the scenery, do some hiking, enjoy nature, and listen to some great music.
One more thing.
Yo, welcome to a brand new episode of the One More Thing, and today we're going to tell a very, very, very special story, which is close to all of the things that I personally love and that One More Thing celebrates about dance music, but about the planet as well. If there's one thing that I love just as much as music, it is the outdoors, it is mountains, it is Mother Nature, and the story of Mountain Base is going to tell us both of these, about music, about community, about beautiful places all across Europe where you can party as long as you respect the place that you're in. This is Mountain Base, and I'm joined by the two founders of Mountain Base, Matt and Joe. How are you both doing? You're in a beautiful location. I know we can't quite see behind, but I know, and we'll show the world at some point.
We'll try and we'll see if we can get it in view.
Oh my God! Wow. And I thought the place where I'm sitting in is lush, but I mean that's snowcapped. It's giving me.
No, we're good, thank you, and no, we appreciate the opportunity to have a chat and get on one more thing. But we're obviously the weather is nice. It's finally spring after a very long cold winter. So
in the van,
yeah. So we're feeling good. We're feeling good. Thank you.
Brilliant. So you spent the whole winter in your van then? You live in your van?
We live in the van. It's been nearly 2 years now?
2 years, yeah. It was a bit of a natural progression in Mountain Base. So somewhere between the first and the second year, we've packed up our home and moved into a van to scout out new places.
Yeah.
And we haven't stopped.
What are your backgrounds? How did we end up in this situation?
So basically, I'm originally from Porto, Portugal. I think music was my very first passion in life. I always wanted to follow music, but being a Portuguese baby from the 80s, music career was an absolute no-go for me. So I kind of ended up developing a career in other areas of interest. I'm a motorsports engineer. I'm a renewable energies and sustainability scientist, which obviously also bears a bit of a weight in the whole sustainability of Mountain Base.
Wow.
And I specialized in international business management. So around fast forwarding into my 30s, with all this behind, I had a very successful career. I was living in Australia, and I had to leave for a short while to change visas. And while I did this, I was in Europe, and a friend invited me for a random snow holiday in Andorra. I hadn't been in the snow for 16 years, fell in love with snowboarding, fell in love with Andorra. So spur of the moment act. As soon as I land back in Porto, I decided I was packing my bags and moving to Andorra. So a week later, I arrived to Andorra, and the first thing I find out in this tiny village called Arinsal in the middle of nowhere is that there was going to be an underground British music festival.
Wow.
And then Matt came along.
And that's why I met Joe. So yeah, I was working in England. I started as a mechanic. I ended up doing engineering. We both did engineering at some point, and yeah, I was really stressed, super busy. I was had my full-time job. I was running my own event brand, Bath City Bass, which was I wanted to bring better music to Bath. So it was kind of mainly drum and bass, jungle, hip hop, and reggae nights. Doing club nights. I was playing and touring with my bands. I played in a 7-8 piece reggae ska band. I was DJing, and yeah, pretty stressed. Wanted a bit of a break from life. I went on a yearly snowboard holiday with my mates, decided to go to Horizon Festival in Andorra, and that's where I met Joe. So the rest leads on from there, really.
Yeah, really. So I remember our first date. We were literally having this conversation in one of the local bars.
Yeah.
And we both have quite unusual backgrounds, a bit of a random mix of characteristics and tastes. And as we're having this conversation, we're like, check, drum and bass, check.
Cheesy question. Was it love at first sight in that type of way?
Absolutely.
Definitely. So we had this first date, and we were there all night just saying, oh, I used to be a gymnast. I used to be a gymnast. I play the drums. I love this food. I love this food. I love this music. I love snowboarding. I love hiking. So we just couldn't believe it. So yeah, definitely love at first sight. And
that kind of led to everything else. So
yeah.
Later, we became an official item. Matt moved back to Andorra.
Both quit our jobs.
Well,
eventually.
When it got time for me to go back to my fancy job in Australia, I pretty much said no thanks. And we ended up living in Andorra for 8 years. And that's also where mountain bass was originally created. And Andorra is very much on the original DNA of mountain bass, actually.
100%, yeah. The first event, well, the first mountain bass was March 2000.
Oh, 23. No, but that was the experience. But mountain bass really started in Andorra because Matt had Bath City Bass before.
Yeah.
And he had a band and all these things. And in Andorra, there weren't enough people to create a band. There was no drum and bass. In fact, I think it's safe to say we brought drum and bass
to Andorra, yeah. But at the same time, I was flying back to England and trying to play with my band, trying to do Bath City Bass, and it
didn't work from the distance.
It didn't work. So we wanted to sort of create something in the village.
Yeah.
We lived in a village of 2,000 people, a little ski resort village, beautiful place. But there was really nothing that enticing there other than house music for us. So yeah, we started to do little parties, reggae barbecues, drum and bass nights, trying to convert the local population into knowing what drum and bass was. I remember a guy on crutches was dancing at the front of me playing some jungle, and he was like, "What is this amazing music?" I'm like, "Jungle, dude." So yeah, we definitely worked on sort of just doing little fun events with mountain bass.
And then the pandemic happened, so obviously everything stalled, especially music-wise. And we've always been very outdoorsy. That was another checkbox between the two of us. So in Andorra, we used to have a very active outdoor lifestyle. We'd go on hikes every day. Every week we would go on an overnight hike. And during the pandemic, because we couldn't go travel and rave and party, we started taking this tiny controller that Matt had with a laptop and some lights and some mini rigs. And we started taking them in overnight hikes and having parties in these little safe houses that you have in the mountain. And we threw some pretty cool parties literally in the middle of nowhere, but we never thought we could make this work as anything either commercial or open to a wider public. Until one time, we found this place we like to call the Secret Valley. We cannot disclose its location.
Secret location. But yeah, it just incredible place, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we found this place surrounded by nature, waterfalls, loads of animals, completely isolated from humanity.
It's literally what you would think of paradise. You know, the description: spring water coming out of the floor, beautiful flowers and colors.
Yeah.
No pathways for hikers to be going through, nothing like that. Lots of dead wood for you to make your fires, whatever you need. And we had one night, we had our lights illuminating. We were camping there. There were no safe houses or anything. So we're just out in nature, beautiful weather, lights under trees to create an ambience, map playing, liquid, I believe.
Liquid D&B, just really chilled, yeah.
Light bulb moments. Can you imagine if you had Etherwood playing here in a table made of wood with a portable set?
So that was the spark. That was the spark.
We never thought we could actually make something like that happen. And it's quite interesting seeing like the whole story and how the mountain-based experience evolved ever since, because this year, that's exactly what we will be doing. We are going to have people play music in the most incredible places, off the grid, no electricity, nothing.
Yeah, I mean, we deliberately try and get lost when we're out in nature because we want to be away from people. But obviously, part of our idea is how can you bring people to places where they wouldn't normally go. But obviously, with that, you've got to have an element of we have to actually get people there and back and consider all levels of ability. So I think this year especially, we've really kind of hit that target with having these experiences completely remote, away from people, just using battery powered equipment with mini rigs and things like that, and so that's something we're definitely managing to incorporate into this year, which is really cool because that's going back to the original sort of root of the original idea, but also we incorporate obviously the club nights and the everything else, proper decent loud drum and bass. So yeah, it's cool. It's been a really cool journey actually.
Our first year was actually like a ski holiday, and it was based at the village. And then I think
how did the village take to that then? How did the village, because this is a small village, you'd only just introduced them to drum and bass.
Well, actually quite well, but I think we've been incredibly lucky with the crowd that we've managed to attract, because everyone's actually so well behaved,
beautiful people,
and gets along well, and it's everyone's been so respectful. I think one of the best things from the first mountain-based experience was actually the feedback we also got from the people and companies that we partnered with to deliver the experience. So from the bars that we use to the hotels, we got the hotel owners telling us, so anyone who's come this year, let them know. If they ever come back, we'll give them a discount. The bars were super happy. They couldn't believe how surprised people were.
We hated the music, but we loved the people.
Yes.
But I mean, we had some challenges along the way because Andorra is a particularly difficult place to operate in. And whenever you're working in different countries, it comes with this different knowledge, this different expectation of how events work.
Bureaucracy.
Local bureaucracy. And obviously in a tiny village, everyone knows each other. We've got some crazy stories. We had one of the venues throwing the mic at Degs, because they didn't like his singing. They said,
not that they didn't like. They thought he was a bit too loud.
So throw the mic out.
And I saw a hand going over the protection, grabbing the mic and throwing it at his.
We had one of the venues threatening to fight me because we decided not to use their venue, and just sort of all of this stuff going on. We had a Keeno UKF video planned, which we spent months planning, and they pulled the plug an hour before.
So we ended up hiking with hip deep snow with all the gear
with Keeno. Right. We've got an idea. Generators,
DJs, everything.
Generators, speakers, CDJs, DJ table, all the camera equipment, banners, and we just hiked and we said, right, we've mountains cancelled on us. We know a really cool spot. If you're happy, Keeno's like, yep, no problem, let's get it done.
It's a really funny story because anyone can actually see the video, but if you see the video online, you're not going to think that everything was put together in about half an hour just before we started filming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh God. Amazing. But this is the DIY spirit, isn't it? This is the DIY attitude when you go into these type of projects and you're doing things in this type of way with this type of mindset. You know there's going to be things to overcome. You know there's going to be problems to solve. And now understanding your backgrounds, like kind of, career-wise and where you're coming from, kind of as both engineers, really, I think you probably enjoy rising to those challenges a tiny bit. Deep
Absolutely.
down underneath it all, like, you are able to look at a situation and go, okay, this isn't going the way that we planned, but what's the solution? Let's find a solution. And I think that's the beauty of these type of events, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think as well, because, I've been freelancing in music since 2015, I think. So worked on a lot of big events and a lot of big shows and obviously done our own events and Joe's done events as well. So, and also going as attendees and artists. And I think, again, that comes back into why we wanted to do Mountain Bass and the values that we stand for. We do like a challenge, but we also like to do things well and sort of have things firmed up well in advance. But obviously when things change and you get thrown with an oddball situation, we adapt very quickly and know how to deal with it. But it has been a learning curve, isn't it?
Absolutely. And every year we've adjusted the concept slightly to according to the feedback that we get, according to what we learn from our own path delivering the event. So but it also keeps it fresh. Like, for instance, the fact that we move places every year, it's never the same. So each experience is truly unique in that sense. If you come one year, you can't say that you've done it all, because next year is going to be different.
From an artist who's now playing it this year, from being a member, going to the first two Mountain Bass events, it's just phenomenal. Like, it's really rare, especially in the drum and bass scene, with how big it's gotten today, to find like a proper sort of tight-knit community feel event, where it's really authentic as well. And it's like there's so much, you can see the love and care that's been put into the event by Matt and Joe, and everyone else who's helped out along the way to run it. And it's just such a sort of nice event. Like, I've made properly friends for life. And in terms of the effect Mountain Bass has had on me, I can't even put it into words, because I think I went to it the first year. I was at like a sort of difficult crossroads in my life. I wasn't really sure where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do. And, I just decided to sort of jump in the deep end, go on my own, meet all these new people for a week. And I'm so glad I've done it, because, it is genuinely just such a phenomenal event. And you really sort of feel a part of something when you're there. That's the best way that I could put it. It's almost like a sort of, it's an energy that you feel a part of 100%.
I think because we're non-for-profit, we don't have that thing of, we need to make money off people. We need to make money off everything or anyone that's coming. So we want to give maximum value. And again, having a small group, we're making WhatsApp groups to make sure people are carpooling. We're directly in contact. We know everyone's name who's coming. We know them well in advance because we're talking to everyone. We're making sure they can get there. We're giving advice, giving suggestions, helping people out. And again, with a massive group of people, you can't give that level of customer service. You can't give that level of intimacy. It becomes, I feel like with larger events, you can go and have a massive rave, and that's great. But do you actually make lifelong friends? Do you make lifelong connections? And that's something that we really want to focus on and say, look, we're a community of people that have the same values, the same ideas, the same vision. We love drum and bass. We love nature. We love the mountains. Let's make something really special where all of us get a maximum value. And you can go away and think, do you know what? That's the best thing I've done. And it might not be the biggest production or huge stages and massive lights, but we're all on the same level and we're all hanging out together. Artists, everyone who's together is always together enjoying it. And that's something that's much more easily attainable with much smaller numbers.
It's just not like your normal festival. It's a real experience and a community, and the people that are there, it's not just the crowd and the headliners. We all mingle, we all hang out together, we eat together sometimes. I went climbing. I've met people that I will call friends forever, all because of what Matt and Joe put together. Last year I went as the winner of their DJ competition, and I was able to pick when I DJ'd. I was able to take over the decks from one of the biggest inspirations to me and my music, and I don't think that's an opportunity I'll experience for a very long time, if at all again. And at the end of it all, I even got to do a little back-to-back with Etherwood, and I will cherish my memories of mountain bass forever.
We only work with musicians that we know will enjoy the experience themselves, for starters, because that's one of the values that the greater values that they take from it, but also those that will be happy to be part of the community and support the community.
And we deliberately book support acts who are not particularly well known, and we want to
bring value to them.
We want to bring value to people. And again, one thing for me is I've been DJing drum and bass for years and years and years, and it was so hard to get into the scene, so hard to get opportunities. I was quite lucky in a way because I was running my own events, and that actually gave me other opportunities. But I could see people who were really trying that weren't getting chances. And I think that if you're genuine and you're really trying and you've got talent, let's give people a chance. It's not based on numbers. It's not based on your following. Let's give people an opportunity. And that's really something that we focus on. But also other people who come along. Two of our support acts this year of previous attendees who've come to the last two events.
And they've been an open decks every single time.
We always have a number of open decks events because we want people to. We know a lot of people are DJs, and we say we've got these beautiful locations. Let's give these people a chance. We create a full itinerary. So if you're inclined, you can do loads and loads of stuff. So we organize loads of things ourselves. We have social events. We have a drum and bass pub quiz, which is a favorite of everyone. Excursions. We always organize an excursion. So social picnics, barbecues, open decks events. This year we've got Rio and Voice MT doing sound healing. Colette Warren is doing Reiki. Katalyst
is going to be a fitness class.
She's doing a drum and bass fitness class.
I'm going to be doing a fitness class, which is going to be interesting, trying to get people sweating in the sun. But yeah, I can't wait. It's a big family affair with loads of people you don't actually know that end up feeling like family at the end of it, which I absolutely loved. And I can't wait to get back. That's all I can say. Get a ticket. Better see you guys there.
And we designed the program in a way that people can be a part of everything, but you also have enough time to rest if you don't want to be on the go all the time.
Yeah.
And do different things.
I think in Andorra, so our first event, we had a packed schedule, but it was like people went skiing, would have a lunchtime, either a barbecue or open decks or just something out on the ski slopes, Keeno video. Then we'd have an après ski event. Then we'd have a club night event, and then people are up skiing in the morning. So we always ask for feedback, and people are like, well, it was great, but we were knackered. Like we were really struggling to get to everything. So I think it's much more of a balance this year. We've got a couple of days up in this beautiful hotel in the mountains, completely remote, no phone signal, surrounded by nature. And that's where we're doing a lot of our sort of mountain-based activities, enjoyable things, socials. We've got a drum bass astronomy session at night, so some stargazing. So we're trying to bring those elements of the mountains and nature, combining it with music in a way that also gives people an itinerary where they can just really enjoy themselves and maximize the place that we're in. And obviously we spend a whole year in these places finding all the contacts, finding the best spots to do this. And that's why being in a van obviously helps. So we dedicate our whole time, our whole year to just finding the best locations, the best offering for that, you know?
That is also one of the things we try to do is also to bring value to the local people and places. So Mountain Base was born from Bat City Base, and the initial idea was to focus on mountains. But as we evolved and created this more sustainable ecosystem, but when you talk about sustainability, we're not just talking about environmental sustainability, we're also talking about social sustainability. And what we love about this project, and especially in relation to our very different previous careers, is that because we're in control of it, we choose to do it according to what we believe to be the best values or ethos. So we want to bring value for the people who come here, but we also want to bring value to the places where we are. So it's really important that we choose places that usually wouldn't benefit from the target audience, the tourism of our target audience. So we actually get to show both these people a new place, but also the locals can benefit from having us here rather than in any big city that's already overrun by huge corporations. So there's that element as well.
Yeah.
Trying to incorporate local activities and providers, and
we've got one of our night parties is in a church which has been organised by Jesus, for example. And his name is Jesus. So Jesus has helped us to organise a rave in a church, which is brilliant. And it's a village of literally like what
90 people.
90 people live there. So we're really taking people off the beaten track, and taking people to these places where they would normally not even ever visit, let alone experience things like this, which I think adds that extra element.
With the drum and bass community and a focus on drum and bass.
Yeah.
So how can people, if there's anybody watching this now and they're thinking, right, okay, this is happening in June, I've got a few weeks, how are people still able to get involved in the one that you've got coming up this year? Or have you capped it at 100? Are we telling a story that people are going to have to wait until the next mountain base opportunities, or can people get involved in this year's one?
Well, actually, that's a very good question, because we've got a little bit of an announcement to make. In order to join our event, you have to be part of our members club. Membership is free, so all you have to do is read our spiel with our ethos, and if you agree and you are complying with those rules or accepted to comply with those rules, you just submit a form and that's it. That gives you then access to events that are exclusive to members. Now, the registration for this event for members has actually already closed on the 13th of April. I know this sounds a bit weird, but when you're planning things as tightly as we need to in order to deliver it in these conditions, we need to know well in advance exactly who's coming, how they're arriving, where they're planning on staying, so we can deal with all the logistics. Yeah. Now, unfortunately, we have decided that this is going to be our last year with the mountain base experience. Now, this doesn't mean that mountain base is going to die or disappear. We will still do things. But in this current format abroad, this will be our last one. And because of that, we've decided to next week, we will put out through our socials, we'll announce everything in advance, but we'll put out an extra 10 entries available. So if anyone wants to come, my best advice is join the members club ASAP and keep an eye on our socials. As soon as we put those entries out, you'll be able to collect one of them if you're one of the first ones.
But this isn't the end, is it? I'm hoping that this is an evolution and not like a story where we're telling people about this amazing thing that you've done, but it may never happen again, really. It sounds like you two are never going to stop creating really interesting things. I think you both seem very driven by creating these communities and these opportunities and these experiences. So what do you have in mind next? Is it a bit too soon to say?
No, so we've got a good vision moving forward. I think first and foremost is that obviously it's not easy doing this between just myself and Joe. Being in a van, it has its pros and cons, but it is certainly difficult. It requires a massive amount of work for Joe and I. And obviously we feel like we need to sort of focus a little bit on our own lives for a little bit. So we're going to have a little bit of a break, but we've already got some ideas. We want to be doing things in the UK. We've already got some ideas of sort of weekenders. And we're also aware of the current climate in the UK with events. It's quite difficult. People have lack of money. So we want to tap into that, and we want to provide things that give people true value for money. So we're already looking at events in the UK. And we've also got some ideas where we want to do things that don't involve us spending a whole year
planning it,
being somewhere abroad, planning it, because that then affects us being able to get jobs and do anything else. And obviously we're volunteers. We don't get paid a penny for this. So it's a massive commitment. So we want to keep evolving it, like you said, but we want to evolve it with our values, with those core values of giving people maximum value, not about being about the money.
The sustainability, social and environmental, the democratization of the music industry, which we strongly support. Yeah. But it will be more UK based, probably single day or weekend events, rather than the full-on 5-day abroad experience.
I think obviously for people in the UK, that's our main audience. We have people coming from all over the world actually, but we want to give value to people in the UK, and we understand it's difficult for people to always sort of come abroad. So definitely going to target the UK, and then we've got ideas on some other actually really cool things that we're planning with sort of experience-based events. So it's not just sort of your standard club night. It's got an element of nature and outdoors and actually experiencing things together. So without spilling the beans too much, yes, we have some plans moving forward, some pretty exciting things. So yeah.
What else does the world need to know about a mountain-based story right now?
Ooh, good question. So a curveball, I guess. I mean, I think really first and foremost, as I said, it's something that's born out of thoughtfuls that we've experienced as event managers ourselves. We've worked for all the big events, and we see areas where we're like that's not good enough. We want to actually actively work to improve that.
But also as attendees as well. As attendees, I think over the years we've increasingly started to feel that the products and services offered in the majority of the music industry are actually in absolute decay. I remember going to parties, nights out, raves, and having a great time and feeling that I was cared for by the organization and the people working there. And my last experiences were just absolutely appalling. And this is what we're trying to reverse, is go back into, take the line off it, and let's focus on what really matters: music, people, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's really a core of sort of what we're trying to do, and the whole idea behind it. But obviously we're growing it. Mountain Base started as really a spark, a bit of inspiration. And we just said, you know what, we're not getting any older. Let's do it. We've got the skills, we've got the expertise, we've got the context. Let's pull it off. And as it's evolving, what we're seeing actually is a lot of people coming this year. We've got a lot of recovering addicts, a lot of sober people. We've got people from all different backgrounds, people from Russia, Canada, America, Europe, England. And what we're seeing actually is that community. And that community of people, and as I said, we created this members club effectively because we want people to look at our values and say, do you know what, I align with that. And actually it comes down to respecting each other, respecting the environment, respecting nature. Let's look after each other, let's care for each other, and let's create a community where we can actually share stories and meet up. And as that's evolving, all of our members are collaborating, they're meeting up, they're going to other events. So it's really this grassroots thing that I think is lacking a bit in the industry now, where people genuinely connect and they share these values, they share these experiences. And that's what we want to play on as we move forward. And I think that's what we're building that's quite uniquely different, that we're not really seeing anywhere else. And it's been a phenomenal amount of work for us both. But, our reviews and our feedback are just phenomenal. It blows us away. Blows us away.
In fact, it's interesting because we started the whole project, as I said, the first year was more like a festival. The first year was actually a commercial endeavor. We formed a company and everything. And then what we realized was that the most important asset was actually the people. And we started to think, how can we make sure that only good people come? And that's when the whole idea of the members club came up. And then we had the experience last year. We decided to not do it all in the same location, and it worked really well. So we kind of continue with it. And as the whole thing evolved from a micro festival into what it is right now, we've kind of gone full circle on the original idea.
Yeah.
So it's been quite satisfying. It's been challenging. We've got
It's
some
been great.
loads of funny stories
Yeah.
in the van, from waking up with an 8-liter bottle of water as a block of ice because it was that cold.
Minus 18 in the van. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, to a couple of days ago, waking up at 5:30 in the morning with a bunch of horses rubbing their arses on the van.
The van was rocking, and we woke up and what the hell is that? And there's 2 horses rubbing their arse on the van. So yeah, it's been a journey.
Absolutely, it's been an absolute journey.
Yeah, but it's definitely been a journey of self-development, but also developing the idea and the concept and the brands. And we're super excited for the future. We got some really, really cool ideas that, again, we're tapping into things that I think it's quite difficult for other people to do, because we're a couple, because we live together, because we can sort of spend the time in these places and do these things. It enables us to do things very, very differently. And again, because we have that non-for-profit outlook, we're not focusing on making money, and everything we make goes back into everything we do. So there's some really cool things on the horizon, I think, for for Mountain Base. So definitely keep your eyes peeled.
Wow, brilliant. I think it's because you live that life. You're committed. You actually live that life. So this isn't contrived in any way, like, you know, and I think that's how you're able to do it, really, isn't it? Because you've thrown yourselves in completely way over your heads. This is your life in that type of way. And I think, you know, in any type of discipline or culture or creative kind of expression, when you are that committed and you are so involved in everything that you do, and everything that you do is dedicated to this, it can only, and I say this from personal experience with One More Thing, really, it's 24/7. It's not a job. You live this, don't you? And I think when you're that committed, that's when the best things really happen. And when you can actually set a different benchmark, you can show a different example, because it's not following the usual kind of standards, or, you know, kind of chasing the usual goals in that type of way.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I'm a bit torn whether or not I go full, because the sun's obviously freaking, and I'm sort of like, do I go full sun or shade? It's a bit
the challenges of outdoor living.
Trying to figure that out, outdoor life.
What's beautiful is on the view. The view has come into view now.
Now that I'm in the sun, the views come into the background. But do you want to answer that one?
I don't know if it's a question or an observation, really.
I think one of the aspects people don't see straight away about the whole endeavor and about the whole work that is involved in organizing the Mountain Base experience is that the bulkier of it is actually getting to a place and making connections to be able to find enough infrastructure around you and enough people to help you at the end of the day, designing an itinerary and making it work and delivering it.
Yeah.
And I think the uniqueness of what we're doing right now, and for me specifically or particularly, is very fulfilling. Something we've probably never had in other previous jobs, is that because of the diversity of of the tasks and of the functions we both have to assume, there's never a dull day. It is great for us to develop new skills. We jump into different things every day. It's not, we're not put into that little shoe and stay there. We're constantly evolving with it as well. So it's been a massive, incredible journey. There are absolutely no regrets. In fact, it's almost sad for us to announce that this will be the last mountain-based experience as it is. And this has nothing to do, I think it's very important for us to stress this. It has nothing to do with the fact that it didn't work. In fact, this has been our best year to date.
By far, yeah.
By far. I think for the first time we will break even rather than acting as donors. The club has increased tremendously in numbers, and the following we're getting and the people we're getting involved with, like the community is growing and becoming stronger and brighter. But it's purely because we need time for ourselves, for our personal lives as well. We've been developing ourselves personally in terms of personal professional development, but not as individuals. And I think we need a little bit of time for ourselves. But again, the UK will be your oyster, and
Yeah.
we will be doing other things that don't take as much of us.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I wish you all the best for that, and long may this journey continue. And I look forward to contributing to an event as an individual and as One More Thing. Hopefully, when you come over to the UK, I wish you the best of luck for this year's event as well. And to everybody watching, if you want to get involved in the community, maybe if there are still some spaces available for this year's, if we've got this video out on time and everything kind of works the way it should do, there are links in the description, as well as that like and subscribe type of stuff that we require you to do as a YouTube content creator. This has been amazing. This has been so inspiring. Thank you so much for telling me your story, and I look forward to meeting both of you when you're back over in the UK. Thank you very much.
One more thing.